So, as Sean said, I'm here today as chair of York's Climate Commission, which is an independent body. We have 7 commissioners that cover business, health, transport and academia. And they have taken the challenge on of making things happen. So you'll see other climate commissions around the country that have got 50, 60, 70 people on their committees, and guess what? They're still talking strategy. In fact, I'm just going to be slightly naughty. There's a Yorkshire one happening today where they are discussing strategy. We're discussing how to do the doing. We've got a few of the commissioners in the room today, and that is our aim, is to make things happen. So we've got an exciting agenda, and you've got lots and lots of exhibitors showcasing the solutions that they're already delivering. But why are we here? Why are we here today? What is it about York? What is different about York? Well, we're known for our Gothic cathedral, our medieval cities, and of course our cream teas at Betty's. So that's what we're known for. But what we're also infamous for is our flooding. Our residents are extremely aware of climate change. And why are they aware of climate change? Because they live near the Ouse and they live near the Foss. And since 2015, we have had 3 1-in-100-year events in flooding. Now just think about that. That's why our residents and our businesses and our communities are well aware of what climate change means to them. They have a personal and vested interest in delivering a change because we really don't want to wall the Ouse in, and that's where we might be getting up to. So what are we going to do about it as a city? Well, the council committed to net zero by 2030. So the council can do that in their estate, but we are going to really struggle to do it for everybody. When we polled our residents about it, because we've done our city centre, we've done all sorts of different surveys and conversations with people across the city, the residents are really keen that we get behind this, really keen that we do our bit. So, what have we chosen to do? Well, the first thing we've done, and I am going to come... Can you hear me if I come away from there? Brilliant. Right, so the first thing we've done is actually understand what in goodness name does York's footprint look like? Because you hear all sorts of different things and we're never really sure. And it's really quite good to move from fact. So we got Leeds University, or the University of Leeds as I'm supposed to call it, to do a mini Stern report, to do a report on our city. And when they came back, over 60% of York's footprint is buildings. Now of that 60%, half of it is homes, so that's places you and I live, and there are 90,000 of them in the city, and half of them are commercial buildings, retail buildings, leisure centres. So if we're going to make a huge difference, we need to look at homes. We need to look at our buildings across the city, and what is it we can or we cannot do. So then what we did, I'll do my tap dance around here, is we said, all right, that's all well and good. Where's our footprint? We've said by 2030, we'll get as close to zero as we possibly can. If you look at the blue line at the top, that's what we're currently doing, okay? The pace of change of what we are and we're not up to. And it gets us a bit of the way. A lot of that, though, is the electricity supply that is being decarbonised through renewals. So it's painless for most of us. We've just changed to a green tariff. This is the line that we are currently aiming for if we put in the technologies that we've got today, if we up the pace a bit, if we make sure that we can pay and we can fund for it. We can get to here. We can see how we can get there, which gets us more or less halfway. Which is good. Don't all look so nervous. It's really, really good. Look where we were. Look where we can get to. That is really, really good. We will be motoring if we get to that point. Where we want to get to, and this is where you have to hold your breath because it's always the last percentages that are expensive in terms of resource, in terms of energy, in terms of effort. This is where we want to get to. Okay, and to get to there, we need to do some serious changes. So going back to the previous slide, 60% is buildings. If we can focus on moving that 60% towards net zero, towards carbon zero, we can get there. If we concentrate on recycling, which is only a couple of percent, we won't get there. That's why the other chart was so important. We can do it. Don't look so nervous, right? This is doable. Look at where we can get to. We're over halfway doing what we're currently doing. Now what we're asking is people to step on the accelerator. So, why have I put that one up? Well, in York, going back to buildings, and this, I'm quite stunned by these numbers. We have 1,500 listed buildings in York. I thought we had about 600. We've got 1,500 listed ones. We've got 35 conservation areas. Right? That's huge. That's very different to somewhere like Leeds, very different to somewhere like Manchester. We're working with, guess what, Bath and Edinburgh, sharing ideas on what is the art of the possible. What can we do? How can we move this forward? So, if you're not from York, you may not know. This is the Guildhall. Right? Fabulous building. Built in 1459. You can tell I've been Googling. It's a Grade 1 listed building. And probably, when we finally finish it, which is only going to be a couple of months off, the most sustainable building in York, possibly in Yorkshire, possibly in England. And it's 700 years old. It's got a heat pump from the river. It's got all sorts of different clever conservation taking place inside, so it's insulated, all the rest of it. It's a cracking building, and once it's open, I suggest everybody goes and has a nose and has a look around. And to that end, the University of York have now leased it from the council to put their innovation centre in. So what a fantastic use for that building. Isn't that brilliant? So we can do it. We can deliver great projects. The University of St John are going to be talking later today about how they're retrofitting their student halls, how they're making all of their buildings come back to net zero as soon as possible. We can do this, right? So it's not scary, it's doable. We've just got to make sure we get on with it. So, how do we get York's buildings to move up the energy efficiency scale? There are 90,000 homes in York. It's a number to conjure with. 90,000 homes. 600, courtesy of Denise, are being built to zero standards, to passive house standards over the next few years. But that's 600 out of 90,000. So we've got an awful lot of homes that are going to be here for the next 50, 100, 150 years that we need to do something with. There are lots and lots of retail and commercial buildings, and you've got solutions in the back of us of where they're helping doing different things. So the council, we've committed to our 265 buildings being net zero by 2030, and we're also increasing solar panels on schools and increasing insulation in our 7,500 council homes. I know that ourselves and also lots of other social housing associations are working to improve the energy efficiency, because that's what we've got to do. We've got to improve the efficiency and slowly get there. We do not have the funding, the resource, nor the appetite from our families to move out of the house, knock it down and replace it with a brand new spanking fantastic one. Nobody's got that appetite. So what can we work with? How can we step ourselves forward? What we then did, because you'll have noticed that we try and move quite quickly as the Commission, what we then did was have a look around the country, and guess what? Leeds came up trumps again. We borrowed, we did tell them, our name kept on the bottom of it. We borrowed some templates from Leeds, who'd spent best part of a year talking to their different groups, asking different parts of their communities how ready were they in Leeds to move forward with this. So instead of reinventing the wheel, we just took it. We've run our own workshops. The Commission made that happen through Sean as well, who's really put his back into this and made it happen really quickly. And we said, well, OK, to get to the 54% reduction, how ready are we? And actually, most of that says we're good to go. We're good to go for the 57%, but we need to move even faster if we're going to hit our carbon pledge. And we need to move particularly faster in terms of policy. So we are nudging, nagging, corralling, I don't know what the word is for central government. We must be sending a letter every other week, every third week, about, look, can we have this? Could you do this? And lots of councils are doing it. So York on its own won't get there, but lots of councils are doing it, and we are nudging them. And guess what? COP26 is quite a good one for us as well. So that's good. In terms of community, we've had lots and lots and lots of engagement across our communities. Lots of appetite for this to happen. But again, what's the disturbance going to be? What's the cost going to be? What does it mean for me? How's the benefit? So we're talking and selling those in. And again, given what we're all seeing on the TV and the radio at the moment, that's helping. But actually, the big one's delivery. Don't know if anyone here has tried to get a builder at the moment. Don't know if anyone's tried to get their boiler serviced. You know, it's tricky. So we've got to do something in the delivery space. So again, today and this week in our skills sessions and other sessions, that's what we're trying to build on. How do we get the people with the right skills in the right place, with the right finances, because there is some funding around, with the appetite, and make it happen? So that's what we're looking at trying to do. And finally, you'll be glad to know this is the last slide. I do like this slide. So finally, we know the size of the challenge. You've seen the charts. They're fact. I haven't made them up. The University of Leeds did them for us, and Sean double-checked them. We now need to work on solutions and how we can best deliver these solutions rather than keeping talking about strategy. The experts are here, and they can show you what they've delivered. There are more experts in this room that can tell us what is the art of the possible. And the prize for us in this room, the prize for us and in our geography, is an even better environment for us all to work, live and play in, and a better business model to deliver positive change and grow our businesses, and make sure that York is the best place to work and to live, which is what the Independent is saying we are. Okay, so thank you for your time. Please enjoy today and ask as many questions as you wish.